breakout room. My name is Jennie MacFarland. I'm the conservation biologist on staff at the Tucson Audubon Society, and we're going to be talking about elegant trogons, specifically the elegant trogon bird surveys that we do of Southeast Arizona. So this is a massive survey we do of 5 different mountain ranges. So let's get right to it, because 10 minutes turns out to be a lot shorter than you would think. All right, so everything I'm going to show here is pretty much online that you can view anytime you would like and peruse at your leisure. So I coordinate the Arizona Important Bird Areas program as part of my duties at Tucson Audubon, and it's a statewide program which is part of a larger international effort, international program. The IBA, the Important Bird Areas program, is actually international, and the Arizona program, though, has its own website, and that's aziba.org. You can visit that anytime, and we have lots of great info here, including profiles on each of the 48 designated important bird areas in Arizona. But what we're going to talk about today is mostly in this resources tab. So if you click on that resources tab, it takes you to this page, IBA Program Resources. And this is mostly where I put information for volunteer bird surveyors. So I have different pages for each of our different projects. So I have one about the ongoing Desert Purple Martin project, some sort of general bird survey info. I have the winter grassland surveys that we do every winter. And then the next one is about elegant trogons. So if you click on that view page button, it takes you to our next tab, which has some general information about the survey. So about the elegant trogon survey, some background info, this year's dates that happened for 2020. I was very pleased that we were able to actually do all 5 surveys this year, because these are massive efforts. Over 70 people helped with these surveys in 2020. It's a massive effort. It's a lot of organization and coordination, and it takes a lot of people involved, and we were actually able to come together, stay apart, but come together virtually and go out and do these collective efforts to make this massive bird survey happen. So I was really so impressed with everybody. Was just so cooperative and so energized to make this survey effort happen, which is difficult even not in a pandemic year, but we did really make it work. It was great. And so I have some info about the surveys themselves, a little video on what to expect while doing an elegant trogon survey. So if you're interested in helping in a future year during May in Southeast Arizona, this is a video about what happens during those surveys. And then I have some sort of sub-pages below, separate pages for each of the last 4 years of the data from the elegant trogon surveys. So I have here at the bottom, I have 2017, then 2018, 2019, and then this year's survey. So if you click on view page for this year's data, it takes you to this page, which has very detailed information about all of the routes that were surveyed. So I have it broken down by each of the 5 mountain ranges, and then I have the routes that were surveyed. So the first one we do is the Atascosa Mountains. This is a lovely mountain range west of Nogales, so our furthest west survey, as well as right on the border between Arizona and Mexico. And we had 25 trogons, and it's broken down by route. The Patagonia Mountains, which is an area near the town of Patagonia, a lovely Sky Island mountain range that is entirely underbirded, really great area, had 26 elegant trogons. More trogons are there than people might know without seeing the data. The Santa Rita Mountains near Green Valley, which is a famous area for trogons, as this is the mountain range that has the famous Madera Canyon, where many people go and get their lifer elegant trogon. And indeed, it does have a lot of trogons. The Santa Ritas this year came out with 56 elegant trogons. That's a really high count. The Huachuca Mountains, which is a very large mountain range near Sierra Vista, Arizona, and pretty much every year the Huachucas comes in as the winner of having the most elegant trogons of the 5 different mountain ranges that we survey. And this year was no exception. At 65, it won again this year. And then you can see all the different routes that are done, as well as the results. The Chiricahua Mountains, which is our furthest east survey, home of the famous South Fork of Cave Creek area that was a really popular place to see trogons in the 90s, had 29 elegant trogons. And that was great to see, since this is an area that was very, very impacted by a large wildfire in 2011, the Horseshoe 2 fire, which really caused Trogon numbers and many other bird species numbers to crash after that quite large stand replacing fire that happened. But the numbers have been coming back and we're up to 29. Now I try to make this page as engaging as possible by putting some photos of Trogons on it and try to jazz it up a bit. But I do think this is a difficult way to relate to data. It's just sort of being listed out, although it's very helpful from a data point of view. It's kind of hard to relate to data when you see it like this. So on this same page, if you visit it yourself, I do have a click here to see a map of Elegant Trogon results. And if you click on that link, it takes you to this map. So this is an interactive Google My Maps that anyone in the public can visit. You can see here it's had over 1,000 views since I put it up just a little while ago, about a month ago. But it's interactive map, and you can see all of the Trogon results for Southeast Arizona. And it is struggling. So let me reload it. Okay. So this is interactive. You can sort of pan around and you can zoom in and see what's going on. So you can see not only what Trogons people had, because the different colors represent a male or a pair or a female, but you can click on it and see some of their data. So some of all the notes that surveyors made are here. So like 2 males near each other is one note. This one says, this is in Calabasas Canyon. So you can zoom around. So this is the Atascosa, and you can see where people had elegant Trogons. The Patagonia Mountains, sort of also pretty far south. The Santa Rita Mountains, which here's Madera Canyon with a lot of Trogon sightings, as one would expect, but you can also see that we survey other parts of the mountain range as well and had good numbers of Trogons. The Huachuca Mountains, the winner, this year and every year, you see lots of different routes that were surveyed and see all the elegant Trogons. You can click on, and see the notes. So this is a pretty long notes. This pair was first detected by the males barking at the road, etc. So you can click around and see any of this data yourself and see it in a very visual, map-oriented way, which I like. I think that really makes it easier to get a sense of what was happening. And then our largest mountain range, the Chiricahuas, which had a lot of Trogons up South Fork, did quite well, but then also Herb Martyr. And then for the first year since we've started doing these surveys in 2013, we had Trogons on the west side of the mountain range. So we had some in Rucker Canyon, and we had an eBird sighting in Turkey Creek Canyon, although we couldn't find them on survey day. Okay, so so you guys could access this map and peruse it, to as much as you would like anytime. But I am now going to show you something that is not available to the public. This is a special edition for you guys only preview of a data sheet that I have been working on with Troy Corman of Arizona Game and Fish, who's really a very good specialist in this sort of thing, where this is our summarized data since 2013. So you can see here that the Chiricahuas were really stuck that first year. So the fire was in 2011, the Horseshoe 2 fire, and then we came and started doing these surveys in 2013. And you can see for 4 years in a row, the count was stuck at 12 elegant Trogons. And then in 2017, I had noticed some habitat improvements happening on the ground. And then just as vegetation started coming back after the fire and the subsequent flooding, which really damaged the habitat too, then we had here some increases. So starting in 2017, there's been a steady increase in Trogons in the Chiricahuas. The Huachucas have been steadily going up as well. And you can see here, the trends have been generally upward with a few slide backs and then increases again in some of these ranges. And generally the number has gone up. Now, there's a reason I don't have this table right on the website for the public is because it can be a bit deceptive since we've had an increase in effort over time. So starting in 2013, when I was sort of figuring out what to do and we sort of were trying to figure out, what routes were important to prioritize and trying to get more and more people involved, there has been an increase in effort since that first year. But however, the last 4 years, 2017 to 2020, has been pretty steady in terms of the number of routes we've done. We did have more people this year than ever, which was great. Over 70 people helped, but it was pretty much the same number of routes since 2017. So this data is pretty comparable, the last 4 years of data, and those are the 4 years that I have available on the website. So you can see here the general trend is up with 201 Trogons for 2020, which was great. It's our highest count ever, and there are a lot more Trogons in Southeast Arizona in May during the breeding season and are still around now. That by now they should be on fledglings, taking their young around, teaching them how to be Trogons. but a lot more than people would initially think. 201, a lot of trogons in southeast Arizona in the mountain ranges, the 5 major skyline mountain ranges. This year, too, we did something new, where for the first year ever, we did an online photo album, and there's also a link to this on the that 2020 results page. There's a link to this public album where we had surveyors contribute photos from their survey days, each of those 5 survey days. So we have some really cool photos of trogons. Here's a trogon male, a dad, peeking out of his nesting hole. Some lovely scenery shots, some really nice wildflowers, some scenery, some surveyor selfies, which is fun. This was in the Patagonias, as well as some interesting sort of border photos. So here's some gallons of water left on a boulder in a remote canyon right on the border. Some really cool, more scenery shots. Lovely, a trogon feather someone found during their survey, which is pretty cool. Some really cool flowers, some nice butterflies and bugs and scenery and sunrises, and some really nice more trogon photos. And this is how I usually see trogons too, is from below. Sort of a belly shot of a trogon, which is fun. And then some other wildlife that people encountered along the way. And then some really nice artistic photos, black and white photo of a trogon